Hello everyone, my name is Jennifer, and today I'm going to be talking about non-restrictive clauses and how they differ from restrictive clauses. So what is a non-restrictive clause? They're also known as non-restrictive adjective clauses, non-essential adjective clauses, and non-defining adjective clauses. An adjective clause describes the noun that precedes it in a sentence. Restrictive clauses follow a general noun. They add meaning to the sentence. They're not surrounded by commas, and they're often preceded by the word that. Non-restrictive clauses follow a specific noun. They add extra information. They're surrounded by commas and are often preceded by the word which. In our first example, Pantera, who formed in 1981, are an American heavy metal band. Our adjective clause in this example is who formed in 1981. Our noun is Pantera, which is a specific noun. It's the name of a band, so we don't have any question as to who that is. So in this example, our clause is non-restrictive, and so we surround it by commas. Another way I like to test this is to remove the clause altogether and see if the sentence still makes sense. And here we can see Pantera are an American heavy metal band. It does make sense still, so it is definitely a non-restrictive clause. Our second example, the drummer who plays with Metallica is Danish. Here, the phrase who plays with Metallica is our adjective clause, and the noun is the drummer. Now, the drummer is not a very specific noun. It could be any drummer, and without our clause, we don't know who that is. So here is an example of a restrictive adjective clause, and we don't use commas here. And if we want to test it again, we can remove our clause, and it says the drummer is Danish, and we see there's not a lot of information there. We still don't know who the drummer is. But what if we have a sentence that seems to work as restrictive and non-restrictive? His sister, who lives in Tulsa, believes heavy metal music is evil. Here, our adjective clause is who lives in Tulsa, and our noun is his sister. If he has only one sister, then we could definitely treat this as a non-restrictive adjective clause, and we use our commas around it. His sister, who lives in Tulsa, believes heavy metal music is evil. And our adjective clause is giving us extra information. But what if he has more than one sister? In that case, his sister believes heavy metal music is evil. Well, which one? It's the one who lives in Tulsa. So we remove our commas and we make it a restrictive adjective clause. And our last two examples are going to look at that and which. As I said at the beginning, that is usually used with a restrictive clause, and which is used with a non-restrictive. In this example, the band that she saw live sounds better than the recorded album. Our adjective clause here is that she saw live, and our noun is the band. The band is not very specific. Again, this could be any band, but which one is the one that she saw live? So we use the word that. In some cases, you do see sometimes that the word that is replaced with which, but it's not very frequently. In our last example, The Way of All Flesh, which is performed by Gojira, is her favorite album. Here, our adjective clause is which is performed by Gojira, and the noun is The Way of All Flesh. And again, this is specific. So The Way of All Flesh is the name of the album, and it's her favorite album. Our clause, which is performed by Gojira, is extra information. And unlike our previous examples, we're not going to include commas here because we have the word which instead. Again, I can go over this. Restrictive clauses follow a general noun. They add meaning to a sentence. They're not surrounded by commas and are often preceded by that. Non-restrictive clauses follow a specific noun. They add extra information. They are surrounded by commas and are often preceded by which. I hope this was helpful, and I hope that you have a better understanding of non-restrictive and restrictive adjective clauses.